If you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
This is another of our popular Listener's Choice interviews, which we're playing over the weekend. We've chosen the most popular interviews for you to select the Listener's Choice winner. If you're not sure how the Listener's Choice competition works, have a look at horsechats.com/choice for the rules and the leaderboard. Our guest today is Tereza Husakoua, or as she pronounces it, I think Husakoua. We're going to ask her, okay? Anyway, Tereza's a dressage specialist coach. She came from the Czech Republic, where she used to visit Germany on a regular basis and was also influenced by some French classical trainers. She's trained a Grand Prix and is currently competing FEI on a horse she started as a young horse. How are you today, Tereza?
I'm really good, thank you.
Good. Now, Tereza, we normally start off with a favourite quote, but I've got to get your last name right. Now, I know that a lot of Australians call it Husakoua, but how do you say it?
You say it Husakoua, which is the Czech pronunciation.
Okay. All right. Well, we've got that right, but the spelling's the same anyway, Husakoua. So, Tereza, can you start off with a favourite quote, please?
So my favourite quote would be, if you have a problem with your horse, it's most likely to be a forward problem. So add more forward.
Which is, I think, something that a lot of people don't understand, do they?
Yes, or exaggerated on the other side, because there is a lot of horses that tend to be quite hot horses. And if you add forward to it, you will have a perfect explosion, which is not really what you want from a young horse.
No, we want controlled energy.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to have it forward. It doesn't mean to chase the horse around. It means to actually activate the hind leg and start to push it from the back to the front, and then using it as you need it. So not letting it go into a run and a chase.
Now, when you started to figure this out, was that like just someone said that to you once, or did you figure it out over a period of time? How did that work out?
No, that's long years to try and figure out how it feels like.
Yeah.
It's kind of a feeling that there is an engine in the back that kind of keeps coming to you in big bursts of energy, and then you catch it. You catch it in the front and use it. So that's it's a feeling that you need to get to. It's not something that someone can teach you. It's something you have to feel.
Yes. Now, Tereza, tell us about how you started with horses. You were born in the Czech Republic, is that right? And then you used to go to Germany on a regular basis. So did you have horses in the Czech Republic and then you went to Germany to further your skills, or what were your first memories there? Yeah.
So I've always loved horses, but I come from absolutely non-horsey family, and we come from a capital city. So in Prague, I'm born in Prague. So we've got plenty of horses around and in a city as well. But financially, we couldn't really afford to pay for my lessons. So when I was 5, I would say, I got this birthday present that I got a lesson on a pony.
Yep.
No helmets. I was in the shorts. That's that time when you really didn't care about safety.
Or didn't know about safety.
Yes, exactly. And the girl would, lead me on this pony and would trot and canter, like the pony could canter next to this tiny pony. And she would even jump with me, and I don't know how I didn't fall off, but I didn't, and I loved it. And then since then, I was always begging my parents for riding, and then I couldn't ride really much. There was occasional rides because of the finances.
Yep.
Up until 8, and then there was a school exchange with Germany, and they paired me with a really successful pony dressage rider in Germany.
Yep.
And that was it. That was basically how I got to get to ride really nice German ponies. And she was excellent. She was riding like, I've never seen anyone ride like that. She's actually a ballerina now in Sweden, so she doesn't do horses anymore. But she brought me to some contacts, and I kept them, and then kept returning and Yeah, so that's how I got to go to Germany on a regular basis then. And basically I worked my way through. I never paid for lessons.
Yep.
I worked really hard. And even if I was, when I was a little girl, I still could do some work. And I did everything I could to have the guidance. And they were really appreciative of the work. And it really, really made me to have a really good work ethic because if you can't do it with money, you have to do it with work.
Yep.
So that's kind of determined my way going. So yeah, it's tough. It was tough, but it was really, really good.
Now, from that time, going over and meeting the German family, were you always going to have a career with horses, or was that a decision that you made?
No, I actually studied uni as well. I didn't finish it because I came to Australia. But I was really passionate in biochemistry, in chemistry and biology.
Yep.
So I studied biochemistry at uni, and then left to Australia because I met my Australian partner at uni back in Linz. So back in Austria where I studied uni.
Yep.
So I wanted to have it as a side career, but the thing is the parent pressure was quite high at that stage, and they didn't want me to do horses. So, it was kind of like you have to do, and my brothers, one of them has got PhD and the other one is an engineer. So, I'm the only one who really didn't finish any degree.
Yep.
And that's something with, I'm working with my hands really. So for them, it was quite not a good idea. So I went to uni and, anyway, I got to horses anyway. So, so it's my main career now.
Yep. And what do they say now that you're established as a coach and a rider and a competitor?
They don't know what to really think. So
Yeah,
they really don't know. Honestly, they don't know what to think. So it's quite hard for them, I think, but there is no other option really.
Yes. All right, now for someone that's ready, because you said that you've worked quite hard to get through, to get the knowledge because you didn't have the money. So you said, right, well, I've worked hard. Besides hard work, what else do people need to have as a core skill or a character trait to start in the horse career?
Lots of patience. And if you want to be a coach, you need to have a lot of communication skills and a lot of personal skills as well. So it's a lot of psychology as well, because the people that you teach will go through some things that are not as easy, and you have to be there to support them. So really, and with the horses, it's the same thing. The young horses are like young kids, like kids at school. So you have to be a really good teacher. So these are all the skills that you need to learn to be a good horseman or horsewoman. And, there is no time for frustration with horses either. So you have to really keep your energy and your emotional state at bay. You have to really, really, try to be always positive and have a constant mild energy with the horses as well, which helps them to keep quiet as well. Yeah.
And then, Tereza, what do you think is the best thing about working in the horse industry and working with horses?
Well, the horses give you the greatest reward, really, because when you achieve some of the movements, that they feel really amazing, and the horse is really happy to do them. And it comes, that it comes to in a paddock because it wants to work. That's the best feeling. Or if I have on the other side, if I have a problematic horse, that's a really unhappy horse that comes around and comes to really good terms with me and becomes a really good competition horse. That's the biggest reward, really.
Yes.
For the human point of view, if I have a student that achieves something that they really wanted to achieve, that's also really rewarding.
It's sometimes the problem horses that give you the best reward, isn't it? Because they start almost lower, like below zero, and then you've got to get them up and get that trust before they actually start to learn. The horse you've got at the moment was a bit of a problem horse, wasn't he? The one you're competing FEI on. What sort of things did he do and what sort of problems did he have?
Well, he used to buck.
Okay.
But buck to the point where he would put people in hospital. So he knew how to get people off. And, also any sort of resistance. So there would be a little bit of rearing in him too. And, he just wasn't really happy to do the work. It was all to avoid the work, really. The bucking was to go away from the arena, get rid of the rider, open the gate, which he could do. He could open the gate to the arena and walk himself out.
Okay. Yeah, so he's getting rewarded.
We sorted that out.
Good.
We sorted that out, and he actually is able to teach beginner riders now.
Wow. How did you sort out the bucking and the rearing?
I had to stay on.
Okay.
I had to stay on and basically take the pressure off when he stopped. So I had to apply quite a lot of pressure on him while he was doing it.
Yep.
But the bucking was quite severe. I don't know how I stayed on. I've never experienced such a huge amount of bucking before. It was, he was going for it. Mm-hmm. And you take the pressure as soon as it stops, and then you just walk off, bring your energy down.
Yep.
And that's it. And he stopped. He's never done it before. And since then, I've provoked it as well many times after to see if I can put the pressure on again and if it will get the reaction. And it never did. And it's 2 years ago. So, and he's actually, I've made it the opposite way now. I've spent so much time relaxing him afterwards and making him to enjoy the work that now he doesn't have any of this excitement of this explosion, nothing in him. So competing him FER, you need a little bit of positive tension in them.
Yes.
And I don't have it.
Okay.
So we go to the opposite side now where I have to put a plastic bag on my whip. And, not literally, but it's almost like that. We have had to get some personality out of him. But he's lovely. He's now really, really reliable horse.
Good. What about people who've helped you in your career?
I had a really big influence from the Klimkes.
Yep.
Not Ingrid, because Ingrid was at the time young as well. But she was just an excellent, most excellent rider. And then there was few people along the way that have worked with people like Nuno Oliveira or Philip Cowell that have been in my career. They are not successful competition riders, but they have been training at home classical way. And when you go to their stables, it's just the most beautiful thing to see because they took the time. They're not pressured by the competition career, and they show you the height of the dressage, classical dressage when there is levart and capriole involved. It's absolutely different, and that taught me a lot as well.
Yes.
And then in Australia, I've cooperated really closely with Heath Ryan and also with Kim Peterson, who is my current eyes on the ground, really. And, occasionally I got clinics with people, with Murray Tompkinson and with people that are at the top at the moment. So, so that's how I get to, progress and have different eyes on me.
Yep. Now, Tereza, what's your current horse's name? Let everyone know his name if they see him out and around.
So his name, competition name is Cloud9.
Yep.
And we call him Goose, Grey Goose. I have a little suspicion that it's got something to do with the French vodka. Because I think that you needed something like that before you jumped on him. Yep. So I think that the name came from something like that.
Yeah, sort of a bit like Dutch courage, I think, when, he was being trained, you need a bit of Dutch courage to get on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, any other horses that you'd like to say that have influenced you and helped you in your career and helped you with your riding?
Yes, of course, my first horse.
Yep.
She was an off-the-track thoroughbred mare, big mare, 17-hand high horse. So, but she was a steeplechaser because in Europe we do steeplechase. And she was so patient but also so quirky. And I had to learn the patience and, leaving the frustration out of the equation and all of these things to be able to work with her. So she was definitely the big influence. And then also every horse that I work is somehow teaching me. Every time you hop on, it's a lesson for you as well. So I can't really say that some horses majorly influence me because every horse that I ride has got some certain influence on me.
Yep. Now, that 17-hand thoroughbred mare, how old were you when you had her?
12.
Okay, was she hard? That's quite big for a 12-year-old. Were you doing dressage on?
Yes. It was quite daunting, yeah, but, I was quite fearless, to be honest. So I didn't even notice the height of the horse. I just wanted to ride.
And was she a bit of a schoolmaster? Was she already...
No.
Okay, yeah. It's quite a lot for a 12-year-old to push together, yeah.
Yeah, and if I didn't have a help on the way, I would definitely not be here now. I probably would be dead. But
yeah, that's a lesson to everyone, isn't it? That you do need help along the way. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. There is never a time where you could just not have any help.
Yes, yeah. What do you think your proudest moment with horses has been?
The proudest moment where I felt the first flying change probably in my life. That was really, really amazing moment. And when it was really, really, and I'm really proud of any moment where I have a young horse and I can achieve some nice success and they feel good. But yes, first flying change was probably the best feeling because the horse that I had the flying change on was a schoolmaster, so it was a proper change. It was quite airy. So for me, it was quite a big moment, yes.
Yeah.
And Piaffe, of course. Piaffe, how could I forget? First Piaffe is always really exciting.
Yes.
If you're an equestrian coach or a horse riding instructor, or even if you aspire to be one, have a look at the free video series for horse riding instructors on the Horse Chats website. Go there now, have a look, horsechats.com.
Thinking about where you are now, because you had the challenge of growing up through a non-horse family and then sort of having to travel to Germany to get the training, working through the training, having the pressure from your parents to attend uni before you actually came and started riding and coaching and competing and doing things professionally. What do you think's been your biggest challenge?
Well, I think that the biggest challenge was to make everything work. So when I had the uni and I had a full-time job, and then I had the horses.
Okay, so you're really juggling there, yeah.
That was really, really hard because I had to really, really make it happen somehow. And I did. So, and another challenge also is when you come to a new country and you start from the scratch.
Mm-hmm.
So that was quite a big challenge for me too. I think when I look at it from the hindsight, because no one knew me, I had to really build it up. From nothing.
Yes.
So that was quite challenging as well. And I've never worked in cafe, so I've never done those jobs that you do when you are young. I always rode. So for me it was really strange to kind of be suddenly put in a situation where I had to build everything from scratch.
Yep. And it's different too, coming in from a new country, even a new area, because if you grow up in a local area and you win and you're competitive and you're successful, it's almost like people are asking you for lessons before you are qualified, and you've got to get qualified so then you can give people lessons. You've got your business started or partially established before you get qualified, whereas you're coming in completely the other way around. So it is hard to get started. What did you do? Did you get your own competition horses? Did you put it out there? How did you actually get your first student?
No. I actually advertised coaching.
Yep.
So I sorted out insurance. I wasn't quick enough to sort out the because NCAS qualification takes some time as well.
Yes.
Not that I could skip some pathway thanks to Heath Ryan, because he'd actually wrote on my behalf or with me. He wrote a letter to EA and said that he knows me as a rider. He knows how I ride.
Yep.
How I work with horses. So he was able to push it a little bit, so it became a little bit quicker process. But yes, I basically advertised for my services, and people started to respond. And if they didn't like you really don't have a business, do you? So that's how I started to build up, and then people started to offer me their horses for training because they started to notice me, and then it just skyrocketed to the point where I am
now. So
it
was really the advertising to get started, but then the word of mouth to keep you going.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because as you say, you can do the advertising, but if your services are no good, word of mouth is going to stop you in your tracks.
Yep, exactly.
People are just going to say, don't go back. But if they do, if they're happy with what you've given them and they want to keep going back, that's good. Good. Now, if someone is juggling a lot of things and they don't have time or a bit of time management, have you got a bit of a time management tip you can give people when they're juggling horses and life and, often family and other things as well? What can you give them time management-wise about juggling all of that? Some sort of tip that you've had?
Well, firstly, you have to have the motivation to do it, because no time management will help you if you are not motivated to do it. Yep. Because you do have to kind of limit yourself a lot. So in your time, I would schedule days with someone that's got family. It's really hard, but I would schedule 3 days a week that are spread evenly during the week, so the horse is kind of evenly worked. And if you have a young children, I would definitely try to get someone to look after them for an hour or, hour and a half or 2 hours if you need to for those 3 days a week, and try to get to the horse either really early or have facilities where you can have the lights on and the opportunity or the availability of that place to come late.
Yep.
So, and it's all really about scheduling each hour of a day and be able to do that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There was 2 things that I really liked about what you said. First of all, you said no time management tips will work if you're not motivated to do it. Because that's right. If you're not motivated to do it, you're always going to find an excuse. There's always going to be that.
And you will procrastinate.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing is, instead of saying riding 6 days a week, you've just said ride 3 days a week. So do something that's a bit achievable to make sure that it is there and it is regular. So if you say you're going to ride 3 days a week and ride it and do it and you're motivated to do it, that's much better than saying I'll ride 6 days a week and then you're not motivated and then life gets in the way and you're always too busy and you put it off. Yeah, no. So I like both of those. That was good.
And also, if you schedule it so that it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, let's say.
Yep.
That's the perfect schedule for your horse as well.
Yes.
So your horse is still quite worked, but it's not, it's not feeling that it's got too much time off, but it's still kind of a regular management, yeah.
And also too, like if you've got family on the weekends, you've sort of got the weekends free and you're doing it, yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's what I try to do as well. I try to have, if I don't compete or don't teach, sometimes it's just not possible, but see, I've got a partner that doesn't do horses, and he does suffer a little bit if I don't have the weekend off for him. I try really hard to make my weekends free. It's never free because you have to go and feed the horses, and people drop off horses and all of this, but you try to have some time for them. Yeah.
What, because you do a bit of breaking in, how do you get horses? If you're breaking in a horse, just tell us a little bit about what you're doing within the training for the first few weeks to get them started as a dressage horse.
So I do lots of desensitizing. So I really want the horse to be confident on the ground. So I don't go and sit on the horse if I see that it's not safe on the ground and it doesn't have the long reining done. It doesn't have the actually desensitizing done, because just imagine that you touch your horse somewhere by accident with your leg when you are getting on and the horse goes and bolts on you or bucks. That's not what you want. You want the horse to be desensitized, to attach to a sound, to a situation. It's, and you try to cover it from the ground first. So first weeks is a lot of groundwork, lots of desensitizing and a lot of putting into situations. And also long reining. I start to, bridle them, make sure that they accept the bridle. I leave it on for a little bit. I let them to eat, to graze with the bridle on under supervision, of course. I never leave the horse unsupervised or in a paddock where it would be dangerous. So it's always supervised. And I let them to feel the bridle, to keep the bridle. Then I long rein them when they are a little bit more used to the feel of the bit. And just really make sure that they are safe before I hop on.
Yep.
And manageable, So, really, really, that's what you want. You want the horse to be quiet when it goes out. You want to have, when someone opens up an umbrella behind you, you don't want the horse to bolt.
No, that's right.
You want the horse to be safe. Yeah.
And so if the training's progressive, getting on is just another step in that progression, isn't it? Yeah.
And it shouldn't, that's right.
What about common faults that you might see when you're out competing and riding, something that you see people doing, because we want to make this into a bit of a lesson. It's what do you see them doing wrong, but also how can they fix it?
A lot of those mistakes or those faults come from not being educated enough. So lots of times I see the horses being really on a forehand in a frame that is not a true frame. that is frame that has been created by the horse in the front. So what I would like to riders to try to do is to actually think about riding from the back than from the front. So because we are humans, we are really, really front focused. We look at things that are in front of us, we forget what's behind us. So you need to always think about what's behind us and make it work, and then be able to forget about the front a little bit, because it comes when it comes from the back, the front will come on its own.
Yeah.
So that's the common mistake and common fault that I see people, and especially I've done one show in my life, and the show riding is all about being pretty and not correct very often. I don't want to say that it is not, because obviously you can't compete at a real level being incorrect on a correctly trained horse. But at the local shows, you sometimes see the horses being really pulled in that frame without, the correct leg and the correct forward and behind, going from behind, really. So yeah, that's the common thing, and you can see it. You can see it in the higher levels. Then when the basics were skipped, you can really see it.
Yes, yeah, and I'm going back to your quote as well about having a problem with your horse. It's most likely to be a forward problem, and I think you're going back here to the same fault. If the horse is,
exactly,
as you say, pulled into a frame with the focus on the front,
it won't go forward.
That's right. That's right.
And it won't go up in the shoulders. It will be downhill movement. It won't be uphill movement.
Yes.
It will be coming down, and then it's also when the horse becomes heavy. That means that it's dragging on the forehand. So, and it's not picking up the shoulders. So, yeah, that's a common problem that you can see.
Yep.
If you're an equestrian coach or a horse riding instructor, or even if you aspire to be one, have a look at the free video series for horse riding instructors on the Horse Chats website. Go there now, have a look, horsechats.com.
Okay, now how can it be fixed?
Well, I think what the biggest problem is that there is no educational program. So people are kind of left on their own very often. They are left, to their own devices. They go to the lessons every now and then, but there is no unified program that teaches that would be, let's say, EA has got a program for beginners, and it's got appointed coaches that give clinics once a month, let's say. And the coaches, are really skilled to educate, but they have to be also trainers. That's what it is really difficult, because you can't just fix the rider, you have to fix the whole picture. So I think that could be the way. And also really, really think about if you have problem, and if you are experiencing within your test that you get low marks because your horse is on the forehand, seek a good quality trainer or a rider or coach.
Yes.
So you can fix those problems together. It's not going to be an overnight fix. And that's another problem that I'm experiencing, that some people want to fix it right now, but it just doesn't really happen that way.
Yeah.
You really, really, really have to take that journey and educate your horse properly. And it's hard, because it's easier to ride them the way that it looks pretty, but it's not correct. It's easy. Just put him in a frame, with your hands, kick it a little, and it will work. And that's the biggest problem, that it looks pretty, but it's not pretty. It's just hidden somewhere deep down, that it's not correct.
I think, just saying that it's not going to be an overnight fix. And again, you're saying, get the right trainer, get the right education to help fix that problem. Yep, that's good. Okay. Tereza, have you got a book that you'd like to recommend to our listeners to complement their training?
Yes, but I would recommend also for people not to take it literally, because you have to have some education to be able to understand what's in that book. So it's a Philip Kahler's book. I think, what is it called? I think it's called Modern Dressage, How to Not... Oh, incorrect. I don't really know the title of the book, but Philip Kahler wrote that book, and it's about lightness, School of Lightness, which is his thing, School of Legerete. So yes, I would recommend that, just even to broaden the views on dressage, really, and not necessarily to use it practically.
And remember, you can find all the books recommended by our guests at horsechats.com/books. You can have a look at the guest page for the individual book they recommended, or just look at the recommended books by order of popularity at horsechats.com/books. What are you looking forward to now? You've got your current FEI horse. What else is going on in your life?
So I do have a lot of young horses coming through that are really exciting. So I do campaign a really interesting mare at the moment. She's a young mare. She just turned 5, and she's actually a Shire cross. So She is heavy horse cross. So she is a different type of horse than you would like to see in a dressage, but she's an absolutely talented and oozing little thing. So she's my new one coming through.
Yeah. Good. Now, Tereza, just in a few sentences, would you be able to summarise your philosophy about horses?
I think that what's the most important in riding is really to be patient, to approach the horse not as an enemy, but as a friend. And when you have a problem, try to make that problem into a little, separate the problem into little parts and sort out each part. And when you've got that, it will all come together nicely, and you will actually sort the problem in a much nicer way, and a much more friendly way than if you try to just sort out a big problem.
Yeah, sometimes those big problems can be overwhelming, but if you as you say, separate the problem into little parts, it's just like saying, right, well, we'll just work on this little bit now, and you can focus on that little bit and get that sorted and get the trust in your horse as well, so they start to understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So most of the time it's really misunderstanding of the horse. It's not the horse being naughty, but not understanding the rider. So sometimes you have to make a step back and, even hop off and think about it and say, okay, so this is happening. I've got this problem. Let's think about it. What is actually the underlying issue? Because sometimes, let's say you've got problems in your walk pirouettes, let's say. The horse is, sliding through the shoulder or grinds the hind legs. Well, it's most likely a problem of your collection in your walk. So you have to actually go back to the basics, like collecting the walk. Go forward into medium walk, then come back to collected walk. Things like that actually influence. And then if you have problems in walk pirouettes, you will have problems in cant pirouettes. So this is all really, really connected. So sometimes you have to kind of think outside of the box and not be like, okay, this shoulder is sliding in my canter pirouette. I have to sort it out right now, put up, hand, push with that leg. It's a really, really temporary fix. It's going to fix the pirouette for a second, but it's not going to fix it long term. So you need to really go back.
Yes.
So, things like that. Yes, I've these examples that I just said are quite advanced examples, but it works the same with the basics, absolute basics.
Yes, I think so. And I think, we've got some more advanced people listening as well. So I'm sure that will relate across, and as you say, across from the basics through to things that are a bit more advanced. Tereza, how can people contact you?
Definitely through our Facebook page, which is the greatest source of my followers, really.
Okay.
So, which is interesting, but yes, that's how it kind of came across.
Yep.
So if they look at Piaf Equestrian Services, which is the company that I've got, that's how they can contact us. So we've got an email as well. We've got a contact number. So I'm happy for anyone that's interested, even just for even a little chat about it, if they want an advice or, a little help, which is really hard to do over the phone, but, can have a little chat.
Yes, it's all knowledge, isn't it? Even just that little chat over the phone can just have that little bit of a click, little bit of a something that's closed the problem. Yeah. Also, those details will be on horsechats.com/Tereza, Tereza, Husakoua, Huskova. So /Tereza Husakoua, or else go to horsechats.com and search for Tereza with a Z, Tereza, and you'll find Tereza's page. Okay, thanks, Tereza, for talking to us. It'd be really good to get you back and talk in a bit more depth another time with some of the things that you've said. But I think there's been quite a lot of tips there for people to go away and work on and think about when they're working with their horse. So thanks very much for that.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Now, if you're still there, you probably know that I'm absolutely passionate about education within the horse industry. That's why I host this podcast. My other venture is Online Horse College. Have a look now at onlinehorsecollege.com and I'll see you over there.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.